Keeping venomous reptiles is an unforgiving hobby, requiring proper training and lots of experience. One simple mistake can be the difference between life and death. Remember, the most venomous snake in the world is the one that just bit you. There are no venomous snakes with training wheels. Just because you see viperkeeper handle snakes a certain way does not mean you should try it too.
Our friend, the Egyptian saw scale, was poking his head out, and usually when we spray down his cage, he'll go scurrying for the foliage in what he perceives to be high ground, but he won't do it now because this is what we were expecting him to do, and so he will do something entirely different.
There he is.
There we go.
Oh, he's coming this way because he wants food.
Well, he ate yesterday. Now, where did I put the freaking squeeze bottle? Oh, come on, Al. Here it is. If it was a snake, it would have bit me. Here, dude. Here. No? Okay, so he's true to form heading into the foliage because he'll drink off of the leaves and off of the walls for a while. So this is his normal routine when we spray.
Hi, cutie. Hi.
Yep, he's the daddy of the ones that we just moved to the larger bins. The female I had since 2002 or 3 passed away not long after she laid those that clutch of eggs, so I was very happy that I finally was able to breed her so she can pass her genetics along. There you go, bud. Is that tasty, huh? Is that tasty? You know, Echis really have a bad reputation, and they truly earn it. However, if you know, once the animal gets used to you and you realizes that you're really not trying to kill them and stuff, they're really quite okay. You still have to be very cautious because this docile nature that you see right now, in less than a heartbeat, can go to full-blown saw scale. I think he's moving funny because he's got shake and bake on his belly, and it sort of, he's not liking that.
Oh, and he just gave himself a little substrate beard.
Yes. So he's coming over to the dry side to try to rub that off. So we'll let him do his thing, but that was just a quick visit with Mr. Sawscale there. Miss Coloradus is another gal I've had for a long time. Hello. Would you like a drink, huh? I'm giving out drinks. You had something to eat yesterday? Now notice when I work with these guys, I try to protect my hand behind things. She would find it really offensive if I sprayed her with the spray bottle, but once she realizes what I'm doing, generally she'll come around and actually accept a drink. Huh? You want some more? No?
We've got to de-poop her cage too.
Yeah, but you know, they really don't like you visiting and de-pooping their cages so much. Now, this is the mother of all Soshirukii. She's a granddaughter of my original pair and mother of all the babies that I had in the lair. And this girl we'll be very careful with because she's very food oriented and not so much interested in drinking. She is a big girl. She's not happy with me because I've really cut back on her food. Because, she, after giving birth to 39 babies, she when I started feeding her again after she, came back on feed, she got quite big. So, so I feed her not as much as she wants. She gets like a hopper mouse once a week, and that's probably too much. Now, Miss Coloradus is very offended and decided that she will go in her hide. We don't press our luck with venomous snakes. We don't take them out. We don't mess with them unless we need to do something.
He's going back into his hut now that he figures that there's not a big flood coming.
Yes, and he knows it's dry in his hut, so that's where he's going.
And he's trying to keep his belly off the substrate as much as possible so he doesn't drag it into his little house. These guys have such personality. Just a bit of tail left.
Alright, so this is my buddy, the Echis leucogaster male. Hopefully he doesn't get weirded out by the camera. He's another one that's really tricky to get to feed. Look at him, he's doing his mouthy thing. He was in with the girls, and the girls, one of them or both of them at different times, he was eating a gecko because he sort of likes that. He'll eat some geckos, and he'll eat some of these pinks that I thaw for him. But he was in the cage with the girls and eating, and females being females bit him on the head just because they were jealous that he was eating. Now, these girls are well nourished. They get, live mice once a week, and he really got injured. For a while, he must have had some sort of bleed in his head, even though they're related, because he had one pupil that was markedly dilated compared to the other. Over several weeks, that's resolved, and I've been nurturing him along, and he's reluctantly feeding on these for me. And okay, so maybe in January I'll put him back in with the females and see if I can get some breeding activity, because this would be another Echis species that I'd like to at least breed once. They're egg layers, so it shouldn't be a huge amount. These are sort of North Central African located, a little bit towards the sort of like Libya, Morocco, that sort of area. And because he's generally a very nice guy and very shy, I really would like to see him breed with those nasty bitches, excuse me, in the other cage.
Yeah, it's just once we put him in, we just don't do any feeding.
Right, yeah, we'll just put them in for breeding. I'll put him in for a couple weeks. If he doesn't get the job done in that amount of time, well, it's not meant to be. I'll move him back into his his stub here, where he doesn't have any companionship, but at least he knows he's not going to get his head bitten off. Yeah, it's really surprising. I've seen a lot of snake bite snakes. Even if they're a related species, there's no guarantee that snake bitten is going to survive. These snakes have venom that varies over the range, as it does seem to be true with all venomous snakes. Depends on what they're eating, and a lot of other environmental factors. So bites to the head are exceptionally lethal, because you can have a fang penetrate a major vessel or a vital organ, and that's the end of that particular story. So unless the pair is relatively calm and easygoing together, feeding can be dangerous, and actually dangerous to the point that many of the female snakes will make a meal out of the male after breeding takes place. It is not without risk. I had a Bitis cordalis, a horned puff adder from South Africa, and she would dine on very expensive males, which cost between $500 and $750, depending on who the vendor was and stuff. So that's a rather expensive meal for the snake. Let me see if I can get him to take another one. I like to get two in him if I can. Like I said, he's a very reluctant feeder. So if we can only get him to take one, well then that's what we can do this week. He may be more interested the week after. Relax, dude. Relax.
Now we're getting defensive.
Yeah. Well, he is a very defensive little snake. If you had, your own kind trying to kill you, you'd be defensive against anything that came around.
True enough.
Come on, dude. Come on. Come on, bud. You saw that burp. Come on. You interested in one more, or are you done? Huh? Come on. No. I know from experience if I leave it behind, it's going to be here later, so I'd just rather take it away now. Nope, I think he's done, so we'll just move on to another. Oh, I see a little face there, but that's all he's going to get. Alright, so that's the leucogaster. These are Echis pyramidum that are wild caught. They have been sort of eating frozen thawed. Are you hungry, huh? Are you hungry? I think she would perhaps eat, but I don't want to stress her out. These I'll leave behind, and we'll see if they're eaten. If not, I have some live mice that you won't see me feed. But, you know, I'll give these guys a chance to eat frozen thawed if I possibly can do that, because I really don't like live feeding for a number of reasons. I have no desire to see, you know, I've seen plenty of, you know, mice and rats bitten by venomous snakes. I don't need to see it on a regular basis. I don't like killing anything except perhaps some humans. So live feeding is something I'm very reluctant to do. I only do when absolutely necessary. Alright, so, oh, well, let's go back up to our captive born and bred saw scales. These were the little guys that were not so little anymore from across the room. I moved them about 2 weeks ago into bigger quarters, and they've been relatively butthurt since then. So I'll just, again, if it's not, these guys, you know, I can show you the video, these guys hammered things across the way, but since I moved them in their new enclosure, they're like, no, I'm not sure of this guy anymore. He moved me. Eventually they come back on feed because they're hungry and they're like, hey, what happened to the food? Well, it's not like I haven't tried. Well, we have a shedding here, which is always a good sign, which also means that maybe it didn't eat because it was in shed. Hi, would you like this? Would you like this, huh? Here, I'll just leave that right there, so it's not in your water dish, and maybe you'll decide to eat. I get so many sheds from so many animals, and I just throw them in the trash now because I've got them coming out of my ears. I don't normally give away sheddings, so don't ask. Some animal rights groups have taken sheddings that they've obtained of venomous snakes and have planted them around housing complexes and things in states that are considering a venomous captive venomous ban, just to make the news and excite the lawmakers, and when it's just a plant. There's no animal that they've really found, just the shedding, so they've been proven to set it up. Why? You totally missed that, huh?
Now he's embarrassed.
Yeah, so we're just going to leave that because normally these Russell's vipers, that's what these are very, very good feeders. I really think that having a second person here and the camera just makes them, oh, okay, you decided, when he went back in the shadows, he decided that was something good that he was interested in. This one is just frantic, so let's go to this one next.
Oh, yeah.
Very beautiful snakes, really deadly. I mean, you want the most deadly snakes in the world? This rack, with the exception of the pyrus, are the most deadly snakes in the world. Sawscale vipers and Russell's vipers kill more people on the planet than all the other venomous snakes put together. Forget your taipans, forget your mambas. They do kill people, but not at the same level. The Russell's vipers and Sawscale vipers are like, hey mambas, hey taipans, hold my beer, watch this. they're venomous, just for some reason very well suited to kill human beings, and it doesn't take very much to do it.
And it's devastating. Even if they don't kill you, you're maimed horribly.
Yes, exactly. You know, you want necrosis? These guys will give you necrosis. Okay, so we'll move on to some other critters that are always interested in food.